There's something unsettling about how we've been taught to live. We're told to chase certainty, to have backup plans for our backup plans, to grip life so tightly that we forget how to breathe. We've been conditioned to believe that if we're not constantly questioning, analyzing, and doubting every step we take, then we're somehow being reckless. But what if I told you that this very need to control and doubt everything is what's keeping you stuck? What if the thing you think is protecting you is actually the prison you've built around your own potential? Most people spend their entire lives waiting for permission. Permission to start that business. Permission to leave that relationship. Permission to trust that maybe, just maybe, things are working out exactly as they're supposed to. They wait for some external sign, some cosmic green light that never comes. And in that waiting, in that constant second guessing, they miss the most profound truth of human existence. Life isn't happening to you. It's happening for you. But your doubt is so loud that you can't hear the whispers of possibility calling your name. I've watched people sabotage their own dreams because they convinced themselves they weren't ready. I've seen brilliant minds trapped in cycles of overthinking, analyzing every potential failure until they're paralyzed by their own intelligence. They mistake preparation for progress, planning for action, and doubt for wisdom. But here's what nobody tells you about doubt. It's not protecting you from failure. It's guaranteeing it. You see, doubt isn't just a feeling. It's a frequency. It's the energy you broadcast to the world when you don't trust the process of your own life. And when you're operating from that frequency, you attract experiences that confirm your fears. You create what you expect. You manifest what you believe. And if you believe that life is random, chaotic, and working against you, then that becomes your reality. But what happens when you flip the script? What happens when, instead of asking, what if this goes wrong? You start asking, what if this is exactly what's supposed to happen? What if every closed door, every rejection, every moment of uncertainty wasn't a sign that you're off track, but evidence that you're being redirected towards something better? This isn't wishful thinking or spiritual bypassing. This is about recognizing a pattern that's been operating in your life since the day you were born. Think about it. How many times have you looked back at something that felt like a disaster in the moment, only to realize later that it was the best thing that could have happened? How many times has what seemed like the end of the world actually been the beginning of a new chapter? The relationship that ended in open space for the love of your life. The job you lost that forced you to discover your true calling. The illness that made you appreciate your health. The financial struggle that taught you resilience. The betrayal that showed you who your real friends are. Every single time you thought life was falling apart, it was actually falling into place. But here's where it gets interesting. You can only see this pattern in hindsight because in the moment, you're too busy doubting, too busy resisting, too busy trying to control outcomes that were never yours to control in the first place. You're fighting against the current instead of learning to swim with it. There's an intelligence at work in your life that's far more sophisticated than your conscious mind. Some call it intuition, others call it the universe, some call it God. The name doesn't matter. What matters is recognizing that this intelligence has been guiding you all along, even when you couldn't see it, especially when you couldn't see it. Every skill you've developed happened to prepare you for something. Every person you've met entered your life for a reason. Every experience you've had, pleasant or painful, has been shaping you into the person you need to become. Nothing has been wasted. Nothing has been random. Everything has been unfolding perfectly, even the imperfect parts. But doubt makes you blind to this perfection. Doubt convinces you that you're behind, that you've missed your chance, that everyone else got the memo about how life works except you. Doubt tells you that you need more time, more money, more experience, more certainty before you can trust yourself to take the next step. Let me tell you something about certainty. It's an illusion. The people who seem most certain are often the ones who've learned to act in spite of uncertainty. Not because they've eliminated it. They've learned to trust the process even when they can't see the whole staircase. They've learned that clarity comes through action, not through endless contemplation. You've been waiting for the perfect moment, the perfect plan, the perfect conditions, but perfection isn't the goal. Movement is, growth is, trust is, and trust isn't about knowing what's going to happen. Trust is about knowing that whatever happens, you'll be able to handle it. Trust is about believing that you're exactly where you need to be, learning exactly what you need to learn, becoming exactly who you need to become. Look at your life right now. Not the version you wish you had, not the one you think you should have, but the one you actually have. Every challenge you're facing is developing a capacity within you. Every uncertainty you're navigating is teaching you to trust yourself more deeply. Every moment of doubt is an opportunity to choose faith instead. The people who seem to live charmed lives, who appear to have everything fall into place effortlessly, they're not special. They're not luckier than you. They've simply learned to work with life instead of against it. They've learned to see obstacles as opportunities, delays as divine timing, and uncertainty as fertile ground for miracles. They've learned that life doesn't happen in straight lines. It happens in spirals, in circles, in patterns that only make sense when you zoom out far enough to see the bigger picture. What looks like going backward is often the necessary retreat before a great leap forward. What feels like standing still is often the pause before everything changes. Your doubt wants to convince you that you're falling behind, that you're not where you should be at your age, that you've made too many mistakes to recover from. But what if you're exactly on time? What if your so-called mistakes were actually course corrections? What if your detours were actually shortcuts to a destination you couldn't have imagined? The truth is, you can't see the full tapestry of your life while you're still weaving it. You can only see the thread you're working with right now. But every thread matters. Every color contributes to the final masterpiece. Even the dark threads, especially the dark threads, create the contrast that makes the bright ones shine. Stop trying to figure it all out. Stop needing to know how everything's gonna work before you take the next step. Stop waiting for doubt to disappear before you start believing in yourself. Doubt isn't going anywhere. It's part of the human experience. But it doesn't have to be your guide. What if instead of fighting your doubt, you acknowledged it and moved forward anyway? What if instead of needing to eliminate fear, you learned to act in its presence? What if instead of waiting for certainty, you chose to trust the uncertainty? Because here's what I know to be true. Everything that's meant for you will find you. Every door that's meant to open will open. Every person who's meant to be in your life will show up. And everything that's not meant for you will fall away, no matter how hard you try to hold on to it. This isn't about being passive or sitting back and waiting for life to happen to you. This is about understanding that your job isn't to control the outcomes. Your job is to show up fully, to give your best effort, to follow your intuition, and to trust that the universe will meet you halfway. The synchronicities you've been experiencing aren't coincidences. The ideas that keep coming to you aren't random thoughts. The opportunities that keep presenting themselves aren't accidents. They're breadcrumbs leading you exactly where you need to go. You're being called towards something greater than what you can see right now. The restlessness you feel, the sense that there's more waiting for you, that nagging feeling that you're meant for something bigger than your current circumstances, that's not delusion. That's recognition. That's your soul remembering what it came here to do. But doubt keeps whispering that you're fooling yourself, that you're being unrealistic, that you should be grateful for what you have and stop reaching for more. Doubt tells you that wanting more is selfish, that dreaming bigger is dangerous, that playing it safe is wisdom. But safety isn't wisdom. Safety is fear dressed up in reasonable clothes. The people who've changed the world, who've created movements, who've built empires from nothing, they weren't the most talented or the most prepared. They were the ones who learned to trust the pull they felt towards something they couldn't yet see. They were the ones who said yes to the unknown because staying in the known felt like dying slowly. You felt that pull too. Maybe it's toward a creative project that makes no logical sense. Maybe it's toward a relationship that scares you with its potential. Maybe it's toward a complete life change that everyone around you thinks is crazy. That pull isn't random. It's not your imagination running wild. It's life itself trying to expand through you. But instead of following that pull, you analyze it to death. You create spreadsheets and pros and cons lists. You seek advice from people who've never felt that kind of calling themselves. You wait for more data, more proof, more certainty. And while you're waiting, the pull gets quieter. Not because it's gone, but because you've trained yourself not to hear it. Here's what you need to understand about timing. Divine timing isn't about waiting for the perfect moment. Divine timing is about recognizing that this moment right now, with all its uncertainty and imperfection, is the perfect moment to begin. The conditions will never be ideal. You'll never have all the information you think you need, but you'll always have everything you actually need, which is the courage to take the next step. Every master was once a beginner who refused to give up. Every expert was once an amateur who kept going. Every success story was once someone sitting exactly where you're sitting right now, wondering if they had what it takes, wondering if it was worth the risk, wondering if they were crazy for believing in something they couldn't prove. The difference between them and the people who stayed stuck wasn't talent or luck or connections. It was the willingness to act before they felt ready. It was the understanding that readiness isn't a feeling you wait for, it's a decision you make. You don't become ready and then start. You start, and then you become ready. Your life has been preparing you for this moment longer than you realize. Every conversation you've had, every book you've read, every experience you've survived has been building towards something. The skills you think are unrelated are about to connect in ways you can't imagine. The people you've met along the way are about to become crucial to your next chapter. The lessons you've learned from your failures are about to become your greatest strengths. But you have to stop looking backward and start looking forward. Stop rehearsing your limitations and start practicing your possibilities. Stop telling the story of why you can't and start living the story of why you must. Because the world doesn't need another person playing small. The world needs you at your full potential, contributing your unique gifts, solving problems only you can solve. That thing you keep thinking about, that dream you keep pushing away, that vision that won't leave you alone, it's not going to disappear. It's going to keep knocking until you answer. It's going to keep showing up in different forms until you pay attention. Because it's not just your dream, it's life dreaming through you. You're not an accident walking around in a random universe hoping for the best. You are a deliberate creation with a specific purpose, equipped with everything you need to fulfill that purpose. The doubt you feel isn't evidence that you're not ready. It's evidence that you're about to grow beyond who you've been. So stop asking if you're good enough and start asking how you can serve. Stop wondering if you deserve success and start focusing on how you can create value. Stop questioning whether you're on the right path and start walking it with conviction. Because the path reveals itself to those who walk it, not to those who stand at the beginning analyzing every possible turn. Everything is unfolding for you, not against you. Every delay has been protection. Every rejection has been redirection. Every challenge has been preparation. And this moment, right now, is your invitation to finally trust the process that's been loving you into existence since the day you were born. The time for doubt is over. The time for trust is now. Your life is waiting for you to show up for it completely. Everything you've ever wanted is on the other side of the decision to believe in yourself as much as life believes in you. Take the step. Trust the process. Everything is unfolding exactly as it should.